Yeah.
Very, very interesting. So I'm going to set up here live. We can keep talking. Give me a sec.
Yeah.
But no, that's what's happening. So our show essentially is, I created this basically for entrepreneurs who are in the game of real estate, especially on the investment side, to stay motivated and inspired, because there are people like myself who are still grinding and doing fine. You know, they learned how to maneuver, and it comes down to being an entrepreneur. At the end of the day, like I said, I'm not sure how much you know about me, but I'm raw, I'm bold, I'm aggressive, I'm to the point, and I do it with reckless abandon because facts. I'm all about the facts.
Okay.
So that's why a lot of our investors always hire our firm, because they know they're going to get what they ask for. So basically, I have this forum. I get to pick and choose who I want to talk to. I've always wanted to speak to you, and I appreciate
Well,
you
thank you.
joining the fun here. Let me make sure we're live. I think
I appreciate you for having me. I think you probably already know that I'm pretty direct.
Yeah.
Women aren't supposed to be direct. Born and raised here on the south side of Chicago in Inglewood. I have common sense, street sense, and I'm highly educated. So oftentimes they view me as dangerous. They should.
That's exactly it. That's exactly how I want this called. I want to have fun. I want to be real. I want to be bold. I want to be honest. And that's exactly why I have these individuals like yourself on our show, because there's no boundaries here. Your boundary is your own boundary.
Okay.
So as of right now, we are live. Yes, we are. We are live. So what I want to do is I want to introduce everybody to another quick show. We're back here with Borderline Inappropriate, and I think especially those in Chicago know who I got on the show. This goes without saying. I got Marki Lemons in the building. So I appreciate you, Marki. Thank you for joining us. Again, this show is for all those entrepreneurs out there who are struggling, who are looking for that leadership, who are looking for advice. And with me, I got the social media goddess to the real estate stars, in my opinion. I told her that, and I think she likes that. So we're going to have to put that on a T-shirt, because we're all about the marketing. So with that said, let's keep this show going. So, Marki, do me a favor. I have to adjust something on my end, but do me a favor. Tell the world right now who you are, what you do, what's your claim to fame, because this isn't just Chicago. We're worldwide.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear we're worldwide. I teach realtors how to earn up to a 2,682% return on their marketing dollars. My name is Marki Lemons-Ryhal, real estate keynote speaker and international best-selling author. Historically, I am on the road 100 nights per year working for real estate associations, banks, and title companies.
Damn, that's it? That's all you do?
Yeah, I mean, well, let me say this. Since we've been quarantined, and this is officially my 9th week at home, my world changed March the 13th, 2020, I have created a print-on-demand and drop shipping business, all for real estate professionals, and print-on-demand includes books on Amazon. I have a Shopify store. I'm doing drop shipping nationally and internationally. So I promised everyone I will emerge better than what I came in.
That's the idea, right? You go into quarantine one way, you come out a beast.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Marki. Let's talk about, this is all about you, girl. Let's talk
really?
about, it's all about you, right? It's always about you. Let's do this.
Uh-oh.
So you come from the south side of Chicago. You're a woman. You're an influential woman, right?
Yes.
I'm a minority. You're a minority. What does that mean in our industry right now in real estate to have that much impact and influence? For real.
Okay, well, I'm clear that in my world, I am the shortest, darkest, roundest person with the least amount of hair, pretty much in every single room that I come into.
Wait a minute.
Short, dark, round, and bald-headed. I'm clear, right?
I love it.
I often tell people that because I want them to create video and I need them to get over how they think that they look. And if you look at the words that I just used to describe myself, it's the negative, right? They want the tall, they want the long hair, they want the skinny, they want the fair. I'm none of those things. I've never been none of those things. And in this lifetime, I'm likely not going to be those things. Mm-hmm. And so how do you embrace who you are? When I think about who I am, I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth in the middle of the ghetto to 2 teen parents who were both black sheeps of their family. So even though I knew what was going on out here in these streets, my grandparents had money and they ensured me a great education and exposure. The question was, what did I want to do with that? Because it's real easy to veer to the left. Let me tell you something. I've been saved. I've veered to the left. I hung out. I have a couple of boyfriends serving life in prison right now, ex-boyfriends. And so I've had the opportunity to be exposed to all the different shades of gray. The question was, what was my lane and what did I want to do?
Okay. When did that happen for you? When did that transition happen for you in life?
I would say I've been going through the transition the whole time. I have a ex. I saw him not too long ago after serving 12 years of federal time. And he reminded me when I was in college, I went to school Monday through Thursday. They did not see me out here in the streets. But come Thursday night, I was going to party from Thursday to Sunday. And that was my routine. And so I had two different lives. And I still merge those two lives today. However, it's pretty much on the more the straight and narrow. I'm not running the streets. I'm running these cities, right? Popping on and off of planes. I just transitioned it a little bit because there were some things I knew I did not want in my life. And more importantly, I'm a mother. And there were things that I was doing that I never wanted my son that to be who he thought his mother was. We all got a past, and I own my past. But I didn't want people walking up to him talking about, "Ooh, I just saw your mama at the Taste Entertainment Center and she won $75 off the sexy booty contest." Because that's what I was doing in college. It's like, and so I didn't want that to be, I wanted people to forget about it. Now I can bring it up and talk about it, but that's not how people know me today.
No, 100%. I mean, I can relate to that as well. At the end of the day, you keep your past where it's supposed to be in the past, but you learn from that past. But you are the one who is entitled to bring that up and use that maybe as leverage, maybe as marketing, maybe as whatever you want to do. Now, let's go that route. So with the past you have and where you're at now, you came into the game of real estate and you really have made an impact in terms of how you present that social media marketing. Like you said at the beginning, your 3 or 4 points, right? The brand, right? What comes before the marketing? Is it the brand before the marketing or the marketing before the brand?
It's the research before it all.
Ooh, okay.
So, so in the midst of going to school, I do have a master's degree in marketing. I've taught marketing on a collegiate level since the day I graduated from grad school. So I do believe in the foundational work of anything that I do, and it starts with research, or better yet, I think it really starts with statistics, which was the class that I dreaded in undergrad and grad school, because when you're 20-something years old, you could care less about the probability of something occurring between 0 and 1. But when you get out here and you making your money and you spending it, I want to know statistically, if I spend this $5, what's going to happen as a result of me spending my money? And everything that I do is based on research, with the exception of coming into the real estate business. I came into the real estate business because I was going through a bitter lawsuit with my family. My family owns Chicago's oldest barbecue restaurants. We sell more pork rib tips than anybody else in the city of Chicago. With that being said, when I was forced out, or let me say this, they didn't force me out. I didn't like the new rules they were coming with, so I left. And I ended up countersuing them and being bought out. I was an unwedded mother at the time, and my son had become accustomed, my oldest son, to a certain lifestyle. And I wanted to do something where I didn't have to go back to school. So I kind of fell in to real estate. And once I fell into real estate, because I had owned businesses before, I understood the entrepreneurial side, the customer relationship management side, keeping a database, all that I already knew. And I applied it and I had instant success. But in the world of real estate, I've been a loan originator. I've been in the top 10% of realtors in the city of Chicago. I've been a real estate educator. So I've worn multiple hats in real estate. I decided that I wanted to focus on the social media and technology, and that shift occurred in 2012. But it was based on the numbers. 100, if the numbers don't, we both have, right? 1,000,001 great freaking ideas. Just because it's a great idea doesn't mean we should do it, and it doesn't mean we should do everything.
Right, and it takes research and diligence to figure that out.
So before you think about the brand and everything, you got to start with the research. One of the changes that I've just made while being quarantined is my business colors are red, black, and white. One, because they're my favorite colors, but also they're my sorority colors. I just added a new dynamic to it, which is pink. Why did I add pink? Because the real estate industry is dominated by females, but on every single platform that I'm on, 70 to 74% of my audience is female.
Okay.
So my new branding, like with my journals and the things that I'm doing with the t-shirts and everything, some of them have a pink element to it to cater to the women. I wasn't going to add pink because I'm not I'm not a frilly type of girl, right? I'm not into the frills and the flowers. I even have a flower journal. That was a very long stretch for me, but I understand what women like. So
Mm.
because I understand my audience, it's not about me. It's about me creating what they desire. And I think when we come into business, I hear a lot of people say this. I've been self-employed since I was 10 years old. But when I'm on that plane 100 nights a year, those are my bosses. They sign the check. So whether I'm Marki Lemons-Ryhal, the founder and CEO of these different companies, that don't mean nothing if I don't perform to their standards. So I
Mm.
have in any given calendar year 100 plus bosses, and they tell me what to do.
100%. Couldn't even agree more than that. So for us, it's very, very parallel. You and I are speaking the same language on this because at the end of the day, we consult investors across the country, right? When I'm on
Right.
that plane, it's the same thing. No matter who I am in our industry, rehab, Roddy, all this stuff, right? I got to answer to my clients, right? They're the boss right now. And I got to deliver 100% and at least give 1,000% to get that 100% accuracy. That's how it works. You got to work backwards to get forward. So for us, I completely understand that dynamic. Let me ask you this right now. So you pivoted a little bit, right? You
Yes.
put the pink colors in your color scheme. You know who your client base is. You know who your obviously demographic is in terms of who you're marketing to. It's based on women. What advice would you give right now those same clients that you serve who are at home right now struggling, who are worried, who are seeing numbers decline, who are seeing percentages go lower? And obviously, people say they don't watch the news. They say they're not paying attention, but they are because you have to. It's part of human nature. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to watch the news to some degree. You have to see what's happening, plan, prepare, research, diligence, execution. So where do you feel, in your expertise, where do you feel a lot of these agents are struggling right now? But what can they do right now? That's the key. What can they be doing right now at home to level up, get themselves out of that pack of other agents, if you will?
So I'm going to take you on a journey, right?
Let's go.
I was this is a record year for me. Okay. I was telling everybody I was adding another zero to the end. This was a record year for me. I was in my record year, in my record month. Okay. On March the 12th, I started getting postponed, rescheduled, canceled. That was email after email. I was kind of disconnected from the emails because I had just flown from Chicago to Seattle, Washington to Maryland, and I had 3 events in the same day. So I get on the last plane from Maryland back to Chicago. It's a Thursday night, and I'm like, what the hell just happened? This is me looking like, I got home. I sat up on the bed the next morning because I got in like at 1 o'clock. I looked at my emails again. I said, oh, this is a real thing. Well, I guess I need to cancel my flights, and I'm thinking logistically, what have I booked? What do I need to cancel? How do I deal with this situation? Because what I was clear about, the March. Now, let me say this. On March the 12th, I had already flown the distance around the world. Okay. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to travel 4 times around the world this year, right?
Right.
Make a long story short, I slept for 48 hours. That's how exhausting it was to me mentally. The fact that I had all the plans, I had done all the work, the due diligence, life was rolling this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I set up 48 hours later, and I said to myself, Marki, you must emerge better than what you came in. The first thing I did was I reviewed my finances because we operate out of chaos. I needed to be clear what financially did my life look like, right? Mortgages, savings. I went through the foreclosure crash in 2008. So I understand what it means to call and pull your money off your insurance policies and to cash in your savings bonds you had since you was a kid and to go sell your gold, because I've had to do that before. So I assessed my whole financial situation. Then I took a deep breath because what I had promised myself in 2008 was I won't be in this freaking predicament again. So I was like, I could stay at home a year and a half. That ain't bad. And if I not had just bought a new BMW, I would not have any debt, right? So
Right.
I call BMW. I say to BMW, can I get a forbearance? They say, yeah, we'll give you 2 months off. You tack it on to the end of your lease because I've also ordered the new Tesla truck, right? I said, okay, that sounds good. I've still paid my car note every month and on time. So you have to take personal inventory, and you cannot be afraid to take personal inventory. If you ain't got no money, you want to be clear you ain't got no money. You don't want to have the numbers over here plaguing you every single day. So I got straight with my numbers first. So then the thing was, you do all the little junk around the house. And some of y'all ain't done nothing around the house. You ain't cleaned your house, your laundry piled up, because you've never been through loss before. So it has rendered you to be still. I've been through loss before. And because I've been through loss before, I understand that I need to go back to the basics and start all over again, right? Because I'm really starting all over again. So once I took the personal inventory, I said, what are all the things you said that you were going to do? Let's go research them and see how that applies to your business. So I did about a week's worth of research, looking at all the things that were on my to-do list, and how was I going to emerge better than what I came in? And let me say this, in the midst of this, my occupation as I knew it, every week it gets pushed back another month. Okay, so some people think they're gonna be unleashed in these streets come June. I'm not being unleashed in the streets come June. I'm looking at August now. And next week will let me know if we're gonna push this thing back to September, right? And so each week to me that I stay home is another month. In 1 second, I'm gonna be looking at 2021. So there were things that I wanted to do. I already knew that, like I have on this Nevermore sweatshirt, I don't want to wear anyone else's clothes. I'm on 100 stages a year. I need to wear Marki Lemons clothes. I need to wear branded t-shirts that reflect me. And so let's set up the print on demand company. Set that up, full-fledged website, products, everything. Self-taught myself everything. The next thing is, I am an international best-selling author, but I wanted some things to go with that. I wanted notebooks and I wanted journals and planners. So guess what? Attended YouTube University from the comfort of my home for the low cost of $0.00. Guess what? I now have a journal, a planner, and several notebooks. So now that I've defined a new normal, right? I need to keep creating, because what I'm clear about as a real estate keynote speaker, even though I'm doing webinars for different the same organizations I was working for face-to-face, I'm working for them from the comfort of my home. But webinars do not pay what keynote speaking pays.
Correct.
Right? So I'm still going to make a living. My bills are going to get paid. I won't have to tap into my savings account, but it ain't the same type of money.
Right.
Actually, it's 6 times less. just so we clear, right?
That's what it is. But you adjusted.
I adjusted, but I didn't have any bills. So me adjusting didn't mean because I've lost everything. First of all, I'll be 50. So being like the Joneses and caught up in how you look all the time, that's not, now don't get me wrong, I can get shitty clean and go to work now. I'll be the cleanest of the clean big girl showing up at work all the time. But I've not bought one piece of clothing while I'm sitting in this office. What I did do was I looked at, once again, the money situation. How would my office look if I had the time to properly set it up? I have properly set my office up. Even though I'm on my laptop, I have a new gaming computer to stream 4K video, because if I'm going to be here, I better be able to do the best type of video, right?
Exactly.
So there were things, so my office is redone, right? I have these 2 new businesses, but it was because, one, I rested first. And then I went back and I looked at the plan and did some research about what does this look like? How do you get to your ideal life, Marki? I made sure that I can cover my monthly expenditures, even though I don't make the same amount of money, okay? And I'm doing it for the people who had already hired me and will continue to hire me. As soon as they can bring me to be in front of their members, I know they're going to do it. I know that I'm at the top of the list because I have been so diligent in this period of rest, right? Creating and complementing what I was already doing. So let me say this. I went deep on my niche. Everything I do is for real estate professionals with the focus on realtors. I didn't go out here and pick a new niche or anything. I decided to go deep because I definitely believe in being in a niche. What I had to evaluate was back in 2012. When in my past did I make the most amount of money? So I was 42 when I did this evaluation. When was I the happiest and made the most amount of money? And every time in my life that I had those 2 things side by side, it was because I was niched. right?
Yep.
And everything don't pay the same amount of money. Like I can crochet and knit. I'm not going to make the same amount of money per hour crocheting and knitting as I am as a keynote real estate speaker.
Correct.
Therefore, I don't have a crochet knitting business.
So no, but okay, so this shit is absolute fire. And this is exactly why I wanted you on the show. Here's the deal. What you've done is 1000% correct. And for those listening right now, if you're sitting on your ass, you're going to stay sitting on your ass because you haven't moved yet. But it's not too late, but you better get up. Reality is what Marki has done, I've done, right? This is pre-COVID, pre-economy, pre-financial crisis, whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't really give a shit. Reality is if you're at the core of what she's saying is she's an entrepreneur. And as an entrepreneur, you plan and prepare. You research and you do diligence, you plan and prepare. And you have your plan B's and C's and D's lined up. Whether they're verbal, shared, or personal, they're lined up. So for us, Marki, I would say a year and a half ago, we started building an app, right? The app came out, it's basically out now, and we couldn't have planned a perfect time because it's a rehab project management app, and it helps you manage virtually. Well, guess what? The whole world's virtual. So as an entrepreneur, we planned for that without knowing anything about COVID. That's cool. Next thing we did is most of my boot camps and the things that we run across the country, I can do virtual. So it took about a week or two to just adjust, right? Like you said, one of the biggest things I started doing on Saturdays, and I'm talking 7 weeks ago, was I started learning, like you said, the free university of YouTube. I started learning that automation. How do I make my videos better? What equipment do I need? I'm in my basement right now. I used to pay a production company to go do these things high level, and I realized I could do this shit myself. It's going to take some time and research, but guess what I've got? I've got time. So I got my studio set up. I'm in my basement. People don't know where I'm at unless I tell them where I'm at. And you know what? Like you're saying, when you go back and reflect on this, you're sitting there going, shit, I should have been doing this the whole damn time. Now, personally, like you said, there is a difference in financial income. Some of the big things we've done, and when you're in the flesh and bone, like you say, public speaking, right? We made a killing on that because when you're actually coming in to do those things, you are making top dollar. Now, virtually, it's got to be way more affordable because everybody's kicking it in their socks. So it's a different perspective. But what you said, I think, is the most profound thing ever, is you went deep on your niche, right? What I do at the Rehab Depot is the niche of the niche. We consult and teach investors how to rehab so they don't get robbed by their contractors because we were the contractor at one point. Now we're in the niche, right? So the reality is we blew that up. Academy Online, boot camps, the whole nine, whatever. Bottom line simply is now is that I went deeper on that niche. What do I do now, Marki? Double down on marketing. What is this, Marki? Doubling down on marketing. I didn't have a podcast in 2019, but I sure as shit put one together in COVID-19. That's my point. When you start looking, I agree with you 100%. I love this. You got me all fired up. When you look at these elements and variables, you and I are able to sit back and go, okay, what can we plus? You know, I follow Walt Disney. I study Walt Disney, and his key was plus. Take something good, make it great, right? Go deep in your niche is what you're saying. So bottom line is I looked at, okay, the platforms that I'm currently using were good, but now I have to be great. They've got to be great because now I'm competing with everybody online, right? And you have to pre-plan for this and do what you said. Number one, when we first got on the call, research. And I'm a big believer that you need to be two things, Marki, two things. You need to be a visionary and an integrator, right? Because if you're able to be a visionary integrator, you know how to delegate. And I'll let you jump on that shit because you're smiling.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I just started laughing because delegating is probably, I'm a control freak. It's probably my weakest skill set.
Could have fooled me.
But let me say this. I did reach out and I had a publisher come in for the book to get me to the international best-selling status because I didn't know anything about that. I do have a podcast host because I didn't know anything about that. Now, I've studied that, but I still know that my podcast, I think we're probably at about 70 episodes, would not have occurred if I would not have let go. The book would not have occurred if I would not have let go, right? I will say I am learning to be a better delegator because a lot of great things happen when you let go.
Things grow. I have the same issues you can imagine, right? Italian, Puerto Rican, we don't play. So it's all ours, right? What's yours is mine and what's mine is mine. So but as a consultant, as a trainer, right? We talk the same language, we walk the same rope. We have to be like, listen, it is about you though. So the show is for you. Let's talk about that. How do we make you this big, beautiful present? We got to gift wrap you. And at the same time, you got to gift wrap yourself a little bit to a certain degree so that you are delivering on everything you say you can do, right? You've got to look the part to some degree. And one of the things that I like that you said is you're wearing your shirt, right? So that's the key. We've got our moniker. You've heard it. Flip that shit. That's our
Yeah.
moniker. I had it on billboards on the highway. I broke all the social rules. I don't care. You know why? Because I got your attention. That's the idea. And we're doing the same thing. My wife was like, you know what, Ryan? You know what we need to do? I said, what's that? She goes, I want to build you a Roddy store with all your stuff. I said, do it. She's like, we can do this. And then I said, let's take it a step further. I said, when we run a boot camp or somebody joins our academy, let's mail them a package that's got our box that says Roddy on it and all these things. And there'll be shirts inside and welcome letters and whatever, right? I said, let's take it a step further. Let's go deeper in the niche so that we continue to, as everybody is plateauing a bit, figuring it out a bit, we continue to rise. It may not be as fast as I want because we've got to go as fast as the economy lets us, but I'm going to continue rising because the cream always rises to the top.
Ain't that the truth? And that's kind of like my concept. The only issue I have is my spouse is not an entrepreneur. Like
Gotcha.
Once I get home and let me say this, I tried to make him an entrepreneur soon after we got married, and he straight up told me, what part of I wasn't an entrepreneur did you not understand? He was like, I didn't even present that shit to you. He was like, that is not who I am. He said, but what I'm gonna do for you, just so you know, I'm gonna keep a roof over your head and I'm gonna make sure you got these hot ass benefits. And at the end of the day, it's kind of balanced out because he is a locomotive engineer. And I was telling someone yesterday, all I got to do is live. I got a spouse. I'm vested. I got a spousal funded pension plan coming from Union Pacific Railroad.
Sure.
I ain't even got to stay married to him. All I got to do is live.
That's true. So when I got with my wife 10 years ago, there was no entrepreneurial bone in her body. Now she's a beast. And I tried to push that in her face early, because when she met me, I was always an entrepreneur. I've been in this game 15 years. I'm 38. I'll be 39. So I've been doing this since 22. And I said, this is what I do. This is what you want to be a part of. I'm married to my business. I'm married to what I do. This is my baby. And she understood what that meant, right? She understood that there's going to be some competition there, but it's not real. It's just, unfortunately, I don't know any other way, right? We're alpha males. You're an alpha female. This is what we do. And I said, listen, but if you're open to what I do, I can bring you along the way and show you ideas here and there with what you do in real estate, and maybe that'll help you. And now she's the one coming up with these ideas, and she's executing her design. And I'm sitting there going, so you know what I do? I'll sit up, I'll kick my feet up, and I'll go, yeah, you better thank the man for that shit, because you're going to bring home that paper now. So when she brings home these massive checks, I just smile and say, what you going to buy me?
What you going to buy? That's my husband. That's 100% my husband.
What trip are we taking? Where are we going?
What we going to do? What we going to do? Yeah.
And you know what she still has the nerve to say? That ain't your money.
That ain't your, well, you know what? My husband, because he is the provider of my primary needs and wants, it gives me the mental clarity to do whatever I need to do. Cause I don't have to work. I don't have to, we're not going half on no mortgage. You know what I'm saying? So I know he got that, you know, so I'm able to travel and do the things that I want to do and live my life. But I'm going to tell you, one of my teachers in life was my mother. She was an entrepreneur. She passed away and she met my husband, but we weren't married. And she said to me, she said, Marki, I need you to make me a promise. She said, I very well think that's the dude you're going to marry. She said, but women every single day lose themselves inside of their spouse. Promise me that you're going to keep on the path that you said. She said, don't let him go. Let him hold on and either he'll catch up or he'll get tired of holding on and he'll let go. Don't you make the decision for him.
I like that.
The running joke in our house is that Stephen is holding on for dear life because I made my mama a promise.
I believe it. So to that point, which I agree with 100%, is not the whole aspect of you can't beat him, join him, but you got to stay true to yourself. So I was going to say, it sounds like in your relationship, your ability to be free to do you keeps you happy, thus keeps the relationship happy. Because you have to have the freedom to do what you do and be creative. That's the key.
But you know what? It can't be lopsided either. And so because I'm gone and I travel and I'm in my office like my husband doesn't have to worry about me trying to get out. He know exactly where I'm at. I'm one room over from the bedroom. He can come see me at any given time. But I cannot stop him from doing what he likes to do.
Correct.
You know, so he loves to golf. He likes to cook. So I make sure I buy him the best cooking utensils in the world. And if I'm buying him something from golf, I'm buying him the best of golf and taking him to Maui to go golfing because that's what he likes to do. So as I tell him, I don't mess with him when he's on the golf course. Don't mess with me when I'm in my office. That to me, that's fair. You know, so I'm not the wife blowing you up. When you tell me you going golfing and you gonna do 18 holes and you with the boys, I know I see you when I see you. And if the sun starts to set, maybe I should call to make sure you okay.
100%. I love it. I love it. So let's transition a little bit here.
Yeah.
What are you telling your clients right now about adjusting? What are you telling them right now? What's the move they need to be making in your humble opinion?
I think they should make the same moves that I was making. But let me say this, on the south side of Chicago, because I'm a ride or die south side girl, I had already told everyone that I did believe come the second tax installment of 2020, we would see an increase in notice of defaults because our real estate taxes increased by 38%. And I already knew that people, if you got $10,000 in taxes and you're talking 38%, they're not going to be able to afford that additional, what it's 308, whatever it is, $3,800 over the calendar year, a couple of $100, $300 a month. And so I definitely believe that we are getting ready to see an increase contingent upon how you pay taxes and other things that were going on in your community, an increase in notice of defaults. I am telling them, especially if they're business owners, now is not the time to flex online, right? So when I go out the house, I don't carry Louis Vuitton anymore, right? I'm not carrying, Yves Saint Laurent, none of it. I'm carrying a black satin crossbody bag. Now, and here's the reason. One, because the thieves are getting ready to come on out, okay? Because they money funny too, all right? So you cannot rub in people's faces your greatness at all times. And so you want to still live your life. You still want to be a business professional, but you need to mirror the language of the people around you. So when I'm dealing with my clients, they understand, look, we all eating at home. We all in the struggle together. Did I prepare for this? Yeah, I didn't prepare for this, but I was prepared, okay? And so I'm advising them based on what I'd already been telling them. And the same things that I did for myself is what I advise them to do as well. And right now, everybody needs a budget. If you ain't never had a budget before, I don't care how much money you make. Right now, everybody needs a budget. I've also allowed them to all do an automated valuation models just so they could see what the value of their house is and how it's trending in today's world. I was on a call yesterday with the National Association of Realtors for our legislative meetings. We're still seeing double-digit increases in values from last year. Like, a lot of people are doing okay. It's going to be the same communities that were hardest hit in 2008 are going to be hardest hit right now when you have that high unemployment, especially in the hotel restaurant industry. It's all being impacted. So you're going to see the same type of fallout, I believe, that we saw in 2008, because some people have reserves and some people don't.
Totally agree with that. So let me ask you this then. Is there a lot of fear that you think are blinding people from making a move, or do you think their fear is justified to hold a little bit tighter?
I think their fear is justified because we don't know what's going to happen. Like, we don't have any time limit. And here's the thing, we are 100% powerless today. So we don't know when these cities are going to open up, what's going to open up, who's going to be standing once they open up. And here's the thing, we know that there are a lot of people who profess to be an entrepreneur who are only entrepreneurs for the sake of calling themselves one, because they've never really operated a business. They don't have any reserves. So to me, a lot of people are in business to buy the latest, greatest, but not to build a legacy, because if your business is faltering and we're 30 to 60 days in and you've been doing this for some time, I want to know, where were your reserves?
Yes. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I think to your point, I think the whole entrepreneurial mindset thing, it's like you said, it sounds sexy to say, but the reality is legends are made in the dark. How many are going to go through the dark? Right now, a lot of people are going through the darkness, right? For those of us who went through 08, 09 and onward, because it's a lot longer than just 08, 09, right? Yeah. Those who actually understood that prepared in a different way, right? This is different, but you prepare in a different way. I would say, in our space, right, of the real estate investing space, for us, after every recession, there's a brand new crop of millions of real estate investors that finally decide to leave their 9 to 5. God bless them, right? Do your thing. And then they get in hot and heavy. My thought here, transitioning again with you, because I like where this is going, is what do you think is going to happen after this one? come 2021, when the foreclosures finally start hitting and the forbearances are all done and the circuit courts finally catch up to all these cases, right? Then you have your plethora of all these properties to be gobbled up by the investors. But what do you think is going to happen? Who is the hardest hit right now? Millennials. Who do you think the new crop's going to be? Millennials. So if people aren't studying this and preparing for the millennial mindset, which routinely, right, research shows that they're renters, well, what do you think is going to happen for some of these entrepreneurs who are truly real estate investors, who understand real estate investing, who are buy and hold investors? That means go after those buildings, hold on to them, because you're going to have a whole generation that, for whatever reason, likes to rent, right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be massive opportunity. Like you said, it's the reserves to get there. Did you plan? Because the opportunity will be there. And that's the difference between a true entrepreneur. Did they set themselves up? It doesn't have to be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. Did they set them up just enough to hang on to the next round? Because as long as you're an entrepreneur, as you know, and I know, right? As long as you're an entrepreneur, you're just surviving every single round as you age, as you get older, as you get wiser, as you get smarter, as you grow, as you scale, as your volume increases, whatever. You get better at your craft. But it's always the next round. Are you able to continue sustaining and maintain a lifestyle that apparently you set yourself up that you wanted? Now, I'm not saying live without your means. That's your business. I'm not here to judge how you live in general. But the reality is, if you set yourself up to be somebody, you better be living that shit, because if not, you're crumbling to the ground real fast, and everybody can see that, right? So we have this saying in the game, you know, for us on our side, being an influencer, right? If you're on TV all the time, you're on commercials, you're on billboards, you've got the academy, you're doing the boot camps, you're doing guest speaking spots, you're doing these things, you're an influencer whether you like it or not. So you better act like one, because all eyes are on you, and that was your decision. Yours and my decision. This is our decision to be in the forefront, right? We have something to say and something to offer. So yeah, you better believe all eyes are on you. You better be living the life that you say and practice what you preach. Fair enough?
Fair enough. So my oldest son is 24. He's a college graduate. He works for Accenture as a consultant, and he was able to keep his job because Accenture is the second largest government contractor. So
Sure.
they've outsourced their entire workforce to places like the state of Michigan unemployment, right? And he also picked him up an Instacart side hustle, but he lives at home.
Yeah.
So as all of his friends are moving out, he's like clinging to the house. And he's like, so when did you say I can buy this property? I said, you can buy a multifamily. And let me tell you, this is what I told him last year when he graduated. I said, you can buy a multifamily property. We can start looking in the second quarter of 2020. I've been on this, right? Because he needs to buy a 4-unit building. I want him to buy a 4-unit building
Smart.
with a 203K purchase rehab loan to create that instant sweat equity and get the rental income to offset the debt to income ratios.
Yes.
And so this is what I'm telling him and his generation, but they're investors who are buying multifamilies just to sell to millennials, because the only way they're going to be able to afford these properties based on their debt to income ratio due to high student loan debt is if they have rental income. And so there's a huge opportunity that's getting ready to emerge for those millennials if they are willing to listen. And they are, and let me say this, we probably didn't listen like our parents. Our parents probably thought we didn't listen, but they don't listen. So my son has consistently been asking me the same thing, because he got boys who bought. I said, let me explain something to you. I'm going to put you in a better position than any of your boys if you can be patient. One, I'm going to make sure you got you some sweat equity. So in 12 months, you can come back and do a rate and term refinance and say you got 6 figures already. Okay. I'm going to make sure you got some rental income coming in to help you offset your debt to income ratios. Heck, I really think you should move into the basement apartment, rent out 4 units, and you can do whatever you want to do because you're traveling for work anyway. You're only here 2 days a week. So I'm thinking for millennials, that same mindset. So with that, I believe that there should be a program. We have a program here in Chicago at CIC where it teaches them about dealing with Section 8 tax appeals, how to be a great landlord. I think that that should be college curriculum for seniors so that we can put them into the position to change their mindset to buy multifamily properties moving forward, even if they bought a 6-unit. Right? And they converted it down to a 4-unit and duplexed it. It's so many ways that this could go, but I definitely think that millennials, and they're getting older, right? So they're not the babies we think they are. They're getting a little older now. It's getting ready to be an exit into home
Correct.
ownership from that
Correct.
generation of people.
I sure hope so.
An
I mean,
entrance.
that's the idea, right? Keep planning and researching what that generation upcoming is going to do. I
Yeah.
mean, they're saying by 2030, everybody in the baby boomer will be 65 and older, guaranteed, right? So at that level, what are they going to do, right? I have a lot of friends that are actually in the nursing home space of real estate investing, where they'll take a property, convert it into livable units, right? It's beautiful. And they have one nurse for 4 patients, one nurse for 5 patients, which is why they don't have COVID in their institutions, if you will, because they can actually take care of the patient. Where at a nursing facility, right, you have one nurse for 30 patients. Very hard to maintain that health standard and that patient care, right? So it's interesting, all the different dynamics. And even he was on the show a few weeks back, and he was talking about, what's going to happen with the older generation with their properties, right? What's going to happen with their money currently and the pensions that they've been collecting? What's going to happen with that money? Who are they going to sell to? Who's going to take the property? And then I had another guy come on who's talking about storage units, right? And the whole idea of what's going to happen with all these storage units and how that's going to be booming, because people are going to be wanting to throw their junk somewhere. And it's easy to increase those rental rates, because 5% of $100 is nothing. But 5-10% of a major rental, right? An $1,800 a month rental is something. People are going to bitch about that. They don't want to pay that. So it's an interesting dynamic. That's what I'm saying. Like, I love the industry that we're in, because it's so interesting to see how many people do something different within the niche of the niche and how they're planning for it. And it's all based almost primarily on the generation that's up and coming. And it's weird. It's very weird, but you got to do it. You got to play the game.
I think that I'm in a generation going on 50 this year. We're not as likely to move, and let me tell you why. So we've been in our house for 10 years.
Sure.
I did a purchase rehab. We came back 12 months later, rate and term refinance, 62% LTV. Our house is worth 3 times what we owe on it. I cannot afford to move. I'm not getting ready to go. My neighbors across the street just spent $735,000 on their house. We owe $190 on ours. You think I'm getting ready to go and take a $735,000 mortgage and then use my equity when I get to live across the street from you? When the people on the corner spent $760 and $779? No. Why I'm gonna leave? That's like stupidity. We're gonna be here till the day we die, and we still have a child that needs to go to college.
Sure.
And so when you look at my generation, if they were part of regentrification 10 years ago, they're thinking about their numbers when they still need to send children to college. We're not likely to move as fast when we do those numbers, because one, we are equity. We have new neighbors. We are equity rich, and we can't afford the new mortgage plus send these kids to what, 40 to 60,000. I just paid $48,000 a year for undergrad. Okay, so no, I'm not giving. That's not how I want to live.
I love it. It's so true, though. It's so true. So you got it all figured out for you guys, and you're ahead of the curve on that. You're ahead of the curve on that.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't know what they want to do.
Oh, yeah,
well, if your neighborhood's going up in value, why the hell would you move?
Oh, they move because they want the newest house. I don't need the newest house. Look, the way you can renovate and put some new features on the house, we just gonna be renovating. I got new blinds. Let me laugh about this. I just got new blinds. Whole house look different with new blinds. I'm good.
It's true. It's true. When you get old and you can't move, all you gotta do is come on in, and we'll just make sure that hallway's a little wider. That's it. We'll open up the staircase. Doors. We'll just no more doors. There'll just be openings.
That's it.
Door jams are gonna be removed. Every door in the house is gonna be a slider, glass slider. You'll figure it out, right? They got those tubs now where you can open a door and just step right in.
Yeah.
So, all right, you are amazing. So let's finish this off with give the world the best advice you got right now, right here. What is it?
Stop getting ready to get ready.
Stop getting ready to get ready. Wow. Okay.
Stop getting ready to get ready, and commit to becoming a lifelong learner, because change is the only constant.
Boom. How does everybody in the whole wide world get a hold of you?
Oh, Marki Lemons. If you spell my name correctly, MarkiLemons. I'm all over the internet. I tell people, if you spell my name right, you're gonna find me.
I love it. Marki, is there anything else you'd like to tell the people before we wrap this up? I'm going to obviously get this over to you. You can share it as well. But at the end of the day, this is exactly what it's all about. For all you entrepreneurs who watch this show, this is exactly what it's all about. It's 2 entrepreneurs at the core of what we do, talking about business, talking about what we're going to do, talking about the current state of times. But at the end of the day, nobody here is pushing pause. I know she's not. I'm not. And that's the idea. So for all of you at home, don't push pause. Like she just said, right? Stop getting, what do you say? Say it again. I don't want to ruin it. Say it. Stop getting ready to get ready. How was it?
Stop getting ready to get ready.
There it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna take another class and then I'm gonna do it. Oh no, I need to do this one more thing and then I'm gonna do it. No, dang it. Stop getting ready to get ready. 80% is what you should be looking for. If you can get it 80% correct, launch it and then tweak it to perfection.
Powerful. Powerful. I thank you very much for joining Borderline Inappropriate. And you know what? You were perfect at it. You were just borderline inappropriate, just like me. Although I'm just very inappropriate. But I got grandma upstairs, and she's a God-fearing woman, and she's got Jesus in her home right now. So I can't be yelling the shit that I want to yell because she's right above me. But thank you very much, Marki. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Keep doing what you're doing. Much love and respect.
Thank you.
Have a good day.